Hello everyone and welcome. It's Vic Witch Art Witch here, and today we are unboxing the Cult Pens box for June 2025. The Cult Pens ink subscription box for June 2025. Now, again, to be aware, I am not affiliated with, I don't do paid promotions or anything like that. I literally do these because I enjoy doing them. So, without further ado, let's peel back the tape if I can get into it. And let's see what we've got this month, shall we? As always, I get excited about these things because I like my ink. I'm stuck now. I like my ink. Everybody knows I like my ink. If you are other arty inclined, I do a scrawler box unboxing, so check that out if you get a moment. And if you are the witchy side of the art witch, I do a witch casket unboxing, so check that out as well. So, this month's theme is dipping inks. So I'm going to assume this is inks for dip pens. Okay, so let's look in. We have a parcel of some kind here. It's all wrapped up. I'm not going to unwrap that just yet. Oh, some Winsor & Newton silver. Excellent. I already have some Winsor & Newton silver. But, you know what? That's fine. There is so many packing parcels. Peanut stings. Ah, that's gone in my water. We don't want that. Well, I got the sweets. The sweets are love hearts. Love hearts are always good. So I'm just trying not to spill all these all over my desk, because that's gonna be everywhere forever. Okay. Is that everything? Oh. A little note there as well from Cult Pens. Just making sure there is nothing else in there. No, it's just packing peanuts now, which are now all over the floor and everywhere else. Okay, so this little note says, "We hope you like the dipping pen box. The manuscript and octopus inks can be used in fountain pens with care. Clean after use. The Winsor & Newton and Robert Oster inks are for dipping only." Okay, let's get rid of the excess packing peanuts, because we don't need those. That's quite a large vial there. Oh, and it's a shimmery too. This is a shimmer one. Are they all going to be shimmer? If they're all shimmer, I need to figure out if one isn't, so I can use that one first. Okay, so I think that one isn't. Okay, looks like we're all shimmers this month. So we've got a lot of shimmer this month. Now, based on the fact that they're calling this the dipping inks, so we've got Octopus Sheen Gin, Festive Sparkle, which is a nice greeny shimmer, Enchanted Seas, shimmery blue, Strawberry Crush, which I'm guessing these are all the manuscript ones, and a shimmery red. Now this one says Bantham Blue Dip. So, very shimmery. It's a shimmery day. Today is a day of sparkle. Eat those in a minute. So, given the nature of what the book says, the little thing says, I'm going to assume this is a dipping pen of some kind. Assume. Oh my gosh, it's a tiny glass one. Oh my gosh. That's so cute. That's so cute, because I have my normal glass one here. Well, I'm going to have to use this one now. Nothing else in there. Oh my gosh, no wonder it was wrapped up so carefully. No wonder it was wrapped up so carefully. There we are, look at that. So I'll bring you up closer without too much distortion. Wow. So the great thing about these glass dip pens is they give you such fine, beautiful lines. So, before we go any further, I need to write down what these are. So, looking at this, was this octopus sheen gin, or gin even? But it's not looking particularly sparkly. I can't see any sparkle in it, unlike the others. I'm going to assume there must be, because it's everything is a sparkle box. But what I'll do is I'll go with that one first, just in case it's not, and then I'm not going to get shimmer from others on my ink, on my stuff. So, octopus sheen. If I could write properly, that would be helpful. Gin. You know, I keep meaning to go back and do like the 3-stage wash on these things, and I never bloody remember, you know. So, Winsor and Newton. Silver. Metallic. I already have a jar of that, which is great. I do love it. So these are the manuscript ones. This one reeks of Christmas. Manuscript. If it doesn't come out of a very deep green, I'm going to be slightly disappointed. I'm not going to lie. So we have Festive Sparkle. Enchanted Seas. Thing is, the bottles aren't see-through very well, so you can't really get a very good idea of what it's going to be. So, Enchanted Seas. So, I'm hoping for a nice deep blue on that one. Hoping. And finally, we have Strawberry Crush. I mean, because it's red, it shows up a little better in the jar. Jar, bottle, whatever. And I'm kind of thinking this might be a lighter red. You know? A little bit on the bright side, because strawberries are a bit of a brighter red than normal. Than other things. Normal. What's normal? Okay. Manuscript. Strawberry Crush. And then finally we have this Robert Oster, one of these signature inks. Oh. Yeah, I've passed the middle of this one already. Crikey. I need to get plenty of these things in, I think. Robert Oster signature. What was the ink called? It's called Balsam Blue Dip. Okay. So, middle of this one. I'm gonna use my new, I can't believe I got such a cute little dip pen as well in the box. That's amazing. See, the points on these things are actually very, very sharp. They're very, very fine. Is this finer than my one? No, they're about the same. So I have my brush, my water mixed with a little bit of ink solvent. So I'm going to put that one there because I'm not going to use that one. I'm going to use this little one to see See how we go. So, first things first, give it a shake, just in case it is a sheen. I don't think it is, because if it is, it's not showing through the bottle very well. Okay, so first impressions, this is a kind of purpley looking ink. I'm not seeing any sparkle. So let's have a looky look. Wow. That is dark. And I love it. No sparkle in that, so I was right to be cautious. But holy hell, that is dark and beautiful. I don't know if you can see it very well. It is such a dark, beautiful purple. I love that. I'm very happy with that. Clean my brush off. Wow, that's not coming off the brush very easily. There we go. That's better. Right. Oh, and that goes in nicely too. Woo! That is a beautiful purple. Look at how that coats it. Right. I am concentrating so much because my handwriting is normally terrible. There we go. June 2025. That is so deep. So deep. I don't know if you can see it very well. It's a really, really deep colour. I love it. Just gotta be careful not to overload yourself on the nib, like I think I've just done. This is actually surprisingly okay to hold. I was kind of thinking because it's shorter, it might not have like the same, like, you know how like it's a weighting and stuff like that. But actually feels really nice to use. Feels pretty much like my dip pen anyway. So I'm kind of pleased about that. Just kind of trying to dry it off because I don't want to imprint it on the other page. I don't want to imprint it on the other page. So, do that. What I'll do then is I'll do the Festive Sparkle. Manuscript Festive Sparkle. Before doing the Winsor & Newton. And even though I've already got Winsor & Newton, I'm not going to test from that jar. Why? Because that jar has been open for a while. Some of the pigments have settled, etc., etc. And I'm not gonna mix it all. I'm gonna do the test straight from a fresh jar, freshly shaken up jar, so you can see fairly what it's like. Okay, now first impressions. This is a very dark green. My initial impression. You can't really see much in there though. It looks very dark. Whether it will be or not is a different matter. So, let's see. A little bit of that. How green and sparkly are you? That's not very dark at all. That's not dark at all. It lies. It's very bright. Very bright. Oh my gosh, that's so bright. The sparkle is there. Problem is, I don't think it will show up for you guys very well on here. Just part of the problem because of what it is. But there is sparkle, I promise you. You can sort of just see an ever so slight sheen to it, and you can tell what the sheen is and what's like the wet bit. So I'm going to be careful with this one. I don't want a lot on my nib because I don't need a lot. So ooh, it's runny, this one. It doesn't like the page. It's bleeding into the page. I don't know if it's because of... Maybe I've still got some moisture on there from the ink stuff. I don't know. I'm gonna give that a rinse off and a dry off. A proper dry off again and try it again, because that's bled on this paper very badly. Right, that is now dry. Let's just try again. Now it's still bleeding. It's still bleeding. I don't know why it's doing that. I genuinely don't know why it's doing that. And I hope the others don't do that. It's disappointing. I don't know if it's because of the paper or the ink or what. I really hope it's not the ink, because manuscript do generally make pretty good inks as far as I understand. So let's put the lid back on that one. If it'll even go back on. It's arguing with me. He's actually arguing with me about going back on. There we go. So I hope that is just because of the paper and not the ink, and maybe because I had too much solvent on my pen. I don't know. I hope that's the case. Okay, so I'm going to do my Winsor & Newton now. And I'm, like I said, even though I already have one of these, I'm using a fresh bottle because I want you guys to see it like straight from the bottle rather than one that's been open for God knows how long. Okay? So I'm going to give it a good shake. With Winsor & Newton inks, you always need to give them a real good shake with the gold, the silver, and the white and the Indian ink. They will settle if you leave them for too long. And they will settle quite heavily. So if I'm shaking that up, if I show you my jar, you can see how much it's settled when it's been a while since I've used it. I've got a couple of agitation balls in there, so you know, a good shake and it will be back to normal again. But you can see how much it's shaken up. Right, now, beautiful silver, absolutely beautiful. I am nervous about using this with the dip pen, not gonna lie. I'm not gonna get a lot on my brush because you really won't need a lot. There we go. That is a beautiful silver. Beautiful silver. I've always liked the silver, to be fair. I am partial to silvers. So, dries fairly quickly too. That's almost dry already. So that's good. So, I'm not going to put too much on here because I don't want to overload it. And then that's a lot of silver I've got to take off. Okay, here we go. Ooh. Making sure I'm not smudging the other one. Seems to have dried. Well, that looks beautiful when written. When used for writing. Absolutely beautiful. Now my water is really sparkly. Really sparkly. It looks like a potion. A potion of Go Hospital. There. Wow, look at that. That is really nice to ink to write with. It came out really nicely. It just glided. It was so nice to use. So, some calligraphy with that would be really cool. It's quite a nice ink. You just got to make sure you shake it up good and proper to use it. Otherwise, like my one, again, this is settled because it hasn't like been used very long. But you see how much like I've got and I've got some balls in there to agitate it. But where my original one, not the one that I've just got through the box, where I've not used it for so long, you have to really shake it, and you can see that some of the sediment still settles in the corners. So you've really got to give it a good shake anytime you want to use it. And I would recommend, even if you don't use them too often, I would recommend shaking any inks with sediment in, like particles in, so things like your metallics and stuff like that. I would recommend shaking them regularly, just so that they don't settle solidly in one place for too long. But Winsor & Newton ink, very much impressed with that one. Very, very, very like that one. Are we dry already? Oh, we're almost dry already. I've got silver thumbs now. I have a silver thumb now. Excellent. So it's tacky. That's almost completely dry already, which is wonderful. Now that festive green is really dry. You can really see the shimmer. It doesn't show up as good on camera as I'd like it to, but you can see it in actuality. It's very, very much there. Okay, so while we're waiting for the silver to dry, what I'll do is I'll do the strawberry crush, and then I'll flip back over to the enchanted seas. And then our final one will be the Bantam Blue Dip. If I put... I'm wary. If I do that, am I gonna... Yes. And now it looks like the bottle's got shimmer. Whoops. It's what it is. Right. So, let's do the enchanted seas. I'm more concerned about the fact that this one, if I did this one second, that one's the next one, and it won't be dry. So this is manuscript Enchanted Seas. So shimmery. It's a very deep blue. Very deep blue. But of course that could just because it's concentrated in the jar. May not come out like that. Oh no, we want to brush first. Getting ahead of myself. I'm just eager to use these. Alright, I haven't got a lot on my brush, but you don't really need a lot. Whoa! That's beautiful. That is a beautiful blue. I like that. I was expecting it to come out lighter because, you know, being concentrated in a small bottle, etc., etc. That is lovely. Okay, really deep blue. The shimmer is showing already. I don't know how much of that shimmer you guys are picking up on the camera. I'm hoping a lot. But you can see the shimmer is there already. It's not taking long at all to show up. So, here we go. I love this tiny dip pen. It's so good. Oh. I don't know if I overloaded it. I don't know if I overloaded it or it's just the way the ink is. Yeah. That. I mean, that came off very, very fast. I don't know if it's because of the makeup of manuscript inks, but that's bleeding already. And I'm not overly happy with that. I'm going to be said. It's starting to bleed already. It's really... It came off my dip pen really heavy. Which is a shame because the colour's gorgeous. But that... I may end up having to blot that because that will just take forever to dry. To be honest. I'm not happy with the fact that it keeps bleeding because the other manuscript one bled as well. But I don't know how much of that was because with the dip pens it just collects. I don't know. I don't know if it's the angle I was holding it at as well. So maybe that's got something to do with it. Alright, let's do that one up. Now, Strawberry Crush, like I said, I'm expecting this to be of a nice light red. I could be totally wrong. I could be absolutely, completely and utterly wrong. But we'll see. I'm expecting a light red because of, like, strawberries are quite light in red colour, so... But we will see what we get. Okay, so it does seem to be of the lighter colour. Which is kind of cool. Jesus Christ, that's almost blood. Wow. I picked up a lot of ink there. I don't know if I meant to or if that was just because my brush wasn't dry properly, but that's a lot of ink I picked up. It still doesn't want to come off my brush. And you can see it feathering around the edge already, which I'm very much not happy about. Because I'm going to be using ink. Sometimes I use ink to write with, sometimes I use it to actually paint with, because inks can be very vibrant. And if I'm doing that with a painting, I don't want this feathering that I'm getting around the edge. You can see it there. I don't want this feathering here at the edge of my painting, ruining it. I'm still waiting for some of this to dry because of how heavy it was with the ink. Right, now, learning my lesson for the past two dips with the manuscript, I'm going to try not to overload it. Try, being the main word. I'm going to try not to overload it. I just want a little bit. There we go. Just a little bit. I'm going to wipe a little bit on there. I don't want to use too much. No, see, I think it is the manuscript ink doesn't like this paper because these are feathering already. I'm starting to think the manuscript ink really just doesn't like the paper in this particular book, which is mildly infuriating, to say the least. But then again, that's why you do a test on whatever paper you get before you actually write or paint or anything like that. But the shimmer's coming out quite well on it. I will say that the shimmer is very evident. Seems to be quite a lot of shimmer in this particular ink. I don't know if you can see already. It's dry. It's still wet here. This is all dry, so you can see all the shimmer on it, and it's already. This is already dry. Oh, okay. I take that back. It is mostly dry, apart from that U, which I've now screwed up. But you can see here, this one's dry now, and you're getting a bit of the red in the makeup of this ink around the outsides, but that could be sparkle build up. I don't know, but you can see the sparkle in it now. What I might have to do is blot that one because I need this page to dry so I can do my final one. Do need this page to dry. So I am going to get some tissue paper and blot that particular one. Because again, I need it to dry so I can go over and do the next one. I don't like blotting because it gives a false impression of how well the ink covered. But when you are limited to a small thing like this, you kind of have no choice. It's not taking up a lot of ink actually, so that's good. And also, if you use patterned kitchen roll like this, you end up with weird patterns in your stuff. So it's just one more time. I just want to make sure that I've blotted up. There we go. That's better. Like I said, I don't really want to blot the ink away if I can avoid it, because I like to keep everything, a representation of it was when I laid it down. But in this instance, I didn't have a choice because I still have one more to do, and that was very heavy on the ink. So this is the Robert Oster Bantam Blue Dip. Quite a large bottle of it in this month's Cult Pens. So, first impressions, it's a nice blue. I can see a really nice blue in it. But again, is that concentrated? Or, how is it going to be when it comes out? So let's just dippy dip and find out. Okay, it's a lot lighter than I thought it would be. A lot lighter. I thought it was going to be darker than that. I thought it was going to be much darker than that. So, well, that's drying fairly fast as well. But then again, that could just be because it was a thinner coating. I don't know, but the sparkle is already starting to show. It is there, I promise you. It is there. Alright, and last little dippy dip. I'm just going to take some of the edge off this, first of all, because testing a theory. I don't know if it was me overloading this or if the manuscript ink just simply didn't like me. So, having unloaded some of the ink, let's see. I think it might be the manuscript ink not liking me. Why is that 0 so tiny? I don't know. There you are. That writes lovely. The manuscript inks did run off my pen very quickly, and there was very little stopping them. So I don't know if it's because it's a glass dip pen or a normal dip pen. So I'm thinking maybe in future videos what I might need to do is have the glass dip pen and the normal dip pen at the ready, so that I can do a comparison. Like, because it could just be because the glass is like an ultra smooth surface, so it just ran off easier. I don't know. Is that dry already? I think that's dry already. And my hands are all shimmery now. My hands are all shimmery. Right. Yeah. That's got a really nice shimmer to it. If you like those like shimmery inks, this one is a real good one to have. Because the shimmer to it is really nice. It's not too much. It's nice and subtle. Now you can see there, look, the manuscript ink had actually started bleeding through. Right. And on that note, that is everything for this month. Hope you enjoyed looking through this month's Cult Pens unboxing with me. And a dippy box. So I'm just going to line them up so you can see everything you get this month. If things will stop rolling away, that'd be grand. So we have 3 manuscript inks, a Robert Oster signature ink, a Winsor & Newton silver, and an Octopus Sheen gin, as well as this month's little treat extra, a glass dip pen. So I hope everybody really enjoyed looking at this month's ink with me. I'll be back next month once we get a new ink dip box. And if you are arty inclined, come and check me out when I do my Scrawler box unboxings. If you are of the witchy persuasion, come and check me out next month when I do my next witch casket unboxing. And on that note, I will see you all later. I hope everybody has a lovely day or night wherever you are. Be nice to somebody, and it may pay off. Thanks for coming out with me. I'm Vic Witch Art Witch, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.